Hello everyone. Before we get started with this video, I just want to wish you a happy Halloween month. If you enjoy my channel and you enjoy this video, please like and share. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if you don't, instead of getting a treat,
you're gonna get a trick. The train to the underworld is coming in area. You better run before it stops near you. Once it does, you'll go into a trance. Then you will hop on the train, and nothing will be left but flesh, skin, bones, as she takes you to the underworld.
this right here is a chant you don't want to hear. From what I gathered from the locals here at Thorn Hollow, it's a very terrifying urban legend. It's known as the Underworld Train, a train that takes you to the underworld or the afterlife, the opposite of heaven. And a lot of people have claimed they've seen this Underworld Train. But what I'm about to share with you is a woman who shared her story with me. A woman who's been living in Thorn Hollow all of her life. She sat down with me with her dying words as she was on death's door. She was 90 years old, and she had enough energy to tell her story. She said that this was very terrifying, and it really scarred her forever of what she had to witness. And she feels lucky at the same time because she knew she wasn't supposed to survive, but somehow she did. From what she told me, once this underworld train stops near you, don't look up. If you look up, you'll see a conductor. At first, he will look like a human being, but then, once you get lured in a trance by this train and the conductor, when you look up at the conductor, you'll realize he's not a human being. He's the devil himself. Her name was Henrietta, and her story takes place 62 years ago, when Henrietta was just 28 years old. It was 1963, and Henrietta always takes the train to and from work, going home to her one-bedroom apartment. This day was just like any other. It was June, and it was very warm and sticky. Despite the weather, it being very uncomfortable, Henrietta pushed through to make it to work on time. And once she left work, it was always around 7 p.m., usually when there was still some sunlight out. Henrietta had a very rough day at work, and usually she'll go home and sleep to relax a bit, but she decided to do something a little different. She decided to hit up a bar, to get drunk, to forget about the problems that she had at work, forget about her boss constantly in her ear, telling her everything she's doing wrong. She wanted just to feel good and have a great time. She partied at the bar for a while with strangers, random men, and other people until around midnight. Once she got done, she left the bar a bit tipsy, but she knew the last train was coming. Once she saw the train, she tried to make her way over there, but she was so drunk she barely couldn't even stand up straight. She fell over and passed out. She woke up about a couple hours later. It was close to 3 o'clock a.m. She was pissed because she knew she passed out, and she knows there wasn't going to be another train coming until around 7 a.m. And walking back to her place was not an option. It was going to take her about an hour and a half to walk on foot. She was trying to figure out what she was going to do until she noticed something. She could have sworn off in the distance on the railroad tracks there was a light gleaming, and it looked like it was a train. Floored, Henrietta was very baffled because she knows there shouldn't be any train running at this hour. But behold, there was a train coming. And that's when she heard something else. A sound. A sound that was so eerie, it made the hairs on her body stand up.
The train to the underworld is coming in area. You better run before it stops near you. Once it does, you'll go into a trance. Then you will hop on the train, and nothing will be left but flesh, skin, bones, as she takes you to the underworld.
Henrietta immediately knew what she had just encountered. She heard all the stories about it. She encountered the Underworld Train. The train that takes anyone who's foolish enough to be out after 3 o'clock to the underworld. And before Henrietta could even try to run, she felt her body moving on its own, like it had a mind of its own, as she slowly walked it towards the Underworld Train. As she got closer, she saw a man, but she noticed that the man was way too tall, almost 10 feet. He towered over her, and then he curled up over her and smiled, and when she looked up, she saw scaly black skin and orange glowing eyes. Henrietta was making eye contact with the devil himself, but somehow she couldn't react. It was like she was in some kind of paralysis. She couldn't move on her own. Her body then just kept moving forward until she got inside the train. Once she got inside there, she noticed several other people asleep. Not knowing what was going on with them, they lay there, so innocent. Henrietta knew what was happening, but her body could not react. Then she heard a very sinister and malevolent voice call out to her.
So glad you can join us, Henrietta. You're going to the underworld, a very special place.
What's down at the underworld? Is this real? This gotta be a dream, Henrietta complained, confused and dazed, wondering what was happening. As she could talk, but she still didn't have control of her body. That's when the demon said,
Oh yes, but this is real, and you're going to the underworld. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It's happening.
And then Henrietta felt her body moving towards the seats as she sat down without even moving her body. It was like an invisible force was tugging at her body like a puppet on a string. She sat there and she felt herself begin to get very sleepy, and she once again passed out. Henrietta didn't know how long she was out for, but when she woke up, she felt like she had control of her body. She looked around as the train kept on going, and she noticed that the sky around outside looked more orange, unnaturally orange, and things looked more stranger. She figured that she was heading towards the underworld. She looked around and saw all the other people still asleep, as they had no idea what was about to happen to them. Henrietta knew she had to get out of there quickly before she permanently gets into the underworld where she can't escape. She unbuckled her seatbelt and she began to walk around the train while being very quiet, not making any sound. She tried to look for an exit, but the train was very long and had a lot of departments. She kept looking around, and that's when she noticed there was an exit. The train was still moving, and Henrietta knew, but she still wanted to try. She figured that if she opened up the train while it's moving, she may injure herself. But she figured that that'd be a risk that she could take because she wasn't going to stay here. She tried to open the door, but the minute that she did, an alarm went off, blaring throughout the entire train. And then All the people on that train woke up and they snapped their neck towards Henrietta. But something was off with all the customers on the train. All the people looked at her with a very wide, eerie smile. Their eyes looked at her like she was some kind of creature. It didn't look normal or right. These people looked like they were possessed by something. They got up and they started to laugh, all in unison. The way they laughed was just chilling. It brought a fear that Henrietta didn't know she had. Henrietta looked at the situation. She noticed that the passengers were not blinking. They all just stared at her, their eyes glued onto her face as they raised their hands, trying to grab her. She didn't know what they were trying to do. As she was dealing with that, she heard a familiar voice. She was hoping that she didn't have to hear again.
Trying to escape, Henrietta? Don't worry, you're not the first person to do so. All these people right here, they done the same thing until I made them more obedient towards me. I meant what I said. You're not getting out of here. I'm taking your soul. It's gonna be here forever in the underworld.
You're not taking my soul, you demon. I'm getting out of here alive. There's nothing you can do to stop me. I'm getting out of here. I'm not going to be some kind of sacrifice for whatever's going on here. It's not happening. No way, Henrietta protested. Once again, she tried to unlock the exit, but she couldn't. That's when she noticed her body started to move on its own, and she felt herself walking towards the demon. The demon smiled as he looked at her, drooling with excitement. The demon just chuckled, and then he opened up his mouth. And what he done next, Henrietta had no time to prepare for.
Henrietta, there's no point in escaping. Yes, you will be back. You'll be back home, back into the living. But not exactly. See, I'm gonna take your soul. And once your soul is in the underworld, there's gonna be a certain creature that's gonna possess it. Let's just say it's gonna be my people who are gonna possess the human race of this town. That's the big secret. Have you been noticing more and more people in your town, Brook Hollow, are not actually people. They're actually possessed by us, by my race. We're slowly taking over the human race. We'll start with this town, and then eventually we'll keep going everywhere until the whole entire world is filled up with us, demons, while the humans will continue to live in the underworld with their spirits roaming around there forever, for eternity, or most won't have one. So Henrietta, you'll be doing us a favor. Your body will go back, but your spirit will stay in the underworld.
And before Henrietta could say anything, the demon opened his mouth and he began to use some kind of power, sucking up something out of Henrietta. She couldn't say anything. She just felt herself losing consciousness. When she came to, she saw her own body. It was like an out-of-body experience. Her soul was lingering in the train, and she saw in horror her body was just sitting there. And then the demon let out something else. It was a black, smoky mist. The demon kneeled down next to Henrietta's body, opened her mouth, and let that black mist go inside of her mouth. And once it did, Henrietta looked in terror as her body began to move. While her soul was out of her body, Henrietta, her spirit, she saw her own body, which was no longer hers, become possessed. As her eyes went black like a demon. This person who was possessing Henrietta's body didn't say anything. The demon then gave it orders.
Now, go back to the living and recruit more people.
No, you can't do this. No, you can't have my body. No. Oh my God, no, no, it's over, no. Henrietta protested as her spirit began to float away into the underworld. Meanwhile, back in Brook Hollow, the demon-possessed body of Henrietta was now living her life like nothing happened. And what makes this more scary is because it's no longer Henrietta, but this person, this demon, still acts and talks just like Henrietta. Slowly, this creature who has her body is slowly luring people to go into the Underworld Train, and that will get more demons to possess those bodies and take the souls of those innocent individuals and continue their plan to take over Brook Hollow. And eventually, the ultimate plan is to take over the world. I looked at what I was writing, and I looked at Henrietta, and I asked her, wait a minute, I just got a question I want to ask you, Miss Henrietta, you said that your spirit got taken away, and a demon is now possessing your body? Okay, I'm confused. If this story is true, you wouldn't be Henrietta, correct? You would be that demon that allegedly possessed her body. Or is this some kind of joke or a story you just want to tell for entertainment reasons? I mean, I thought that the urban legend was real, but that sounds kind of ridiculous. So, Miss Henrietta, you're telling me that I'm not actually speaking to you. This is a demon that I'm talking to that's somehow possessing your body. Is that correct? For a few moments, Henrietta didn't say anything. She just looked outside the window, and then she slowly turned towards me. Her eyes were black, and she said,
Well, it looks like you got me.